Hi, my name is Pete Sanderson. My wife and I, Kathy, recently purchased Vienna. We're from central Wisconsin, Stevens Point. I'm a family physician there, and my wife has been working as a librarian within one of the local Catholic schools. We decided that it was time to move into an RV, as we were no longer comfortable staying in motel rooms when we were traveling. And our children, who used to do lots of camping with us, now are at the age where they have young families and are beginning to camp themselves. I no longer want to sleep on the ground, so getting Vienna was a perfect way of being able to spend time with my children and their families in a camping experience without having to dry camp. You know, it's really fascinating in that when I talk to family members and friends about going to Idaho from Wisconsin to purchase an RV, they all kind of looked at me as if to say you're crazy. But actually it was a well-reasoned decision. Once I decided that Renegade was a quality manufacturer that I wanted to buy into, and specifically a Vienna that I was interested in, I began to look at what dealers had that offering. Within Wisconsin, and actually between Wisconsin and Idaho, there's a fair number of Renegade dealers. Many of them don't cover the Vienna brand. Many of them just want to cover the bigger rigs. And as I began to look at their reputation, and I began to read online reviews and review some of the videos that Chuck and Ben have made, it became clear to me that IWS was committed to value and service, and they provided a value and service that was above and beyond what I could see elsewhere. And to me, it was worth the trip. Because IWS has a philosophy of getting it right the first time. I'll tell you that when I came to the facility, I was aware that IWS had a commitment to having a well-organized shop. But when I arrived, I began to realize that the company totally and wholly embraces the Toyota production system method. And that's a method of zero defects. That's a method of constant striving for perfection. And I see that in each and every person that I meet within IWS. And I think that's the primary reason that they've been able to provide such great service and have had great reviews. I had a great opportunity to tour the shop. Having been a student of Toyota production system, where everything is in its spot. There's great inventory control. The workers themselves work on defining what their standard work is, and they work with management to make sure they have the tools to do so. It is readily apparent that IWS wholeheartedly endorses this method of production, and you can see it as you walk through the shop. And you can see it in the eyes and the enthusiasm of everybody you talk to. And that tells me that they're committed, that IWS is committed to doing it right the first time, and actively working to not only reduce the number of redos that have to be done, but also improving the efficiency of doing so. Because as you improve the efficiency, you get better and better at what you're doing, and you turn out a better and better product. I have never purchased an RV before. I have never purchased anything from IWS. I didn't know where Mountain Home was until I began to learn about IWS. That was one of the reasons that we purchased a new unit rather than a used unit. With the onset of COVID, I really didn't want to go shopping. I didn't really want to go shopping for a used vehicle, and I wanted to make sure that a vehicle that I purchased was done in a very quality way that wasn't going to take a lot of fixing issues, and that I was working with a dealer such as IWS that was committed to doing the prep work necessary to make sure that the vehicle is delivered with 0 defects. And I'll tell you, that's been my experience to date. I'm totally impressed. So as we were looking at various models of Viennas, I wanted to have 2 separate living spaces within the unit. And the particular model that we purchased is a full wall slide that has the bed in the back of the unit, and in the front of the unit is theater seatings. That allows us to have 2 different living spaces. Both my wife and I get up early in the morning. I get up much earlier than my wife does. It's rare that I'm not up by 5 a.m. So if I have a different spot that I can go to, that I can be quiet within the RV while she continues to sleep, that was very important to us. And that was the prime reason that we chose the model that we did. I gotta be honest with you, I'm hard to please at times. And I came in with pretty high expectations. But the service was beyond what I was expecting, and I can only consider it to be superior service second to none. And when you stop to realize that IWS is not just an RV dealer, that IWS also has many other product lines, many of which are production-based, they produce their own products, that the RV business gets the benefit of all the other experience that IWS has, and the experience that its workers have in one area of the company being moved over to another and extending that experience to other product lines. I'm just totally blown away. I had a wow moment when initially calling IWS and talking to a salesman. And the salesman did a great job of listening to what my needs were, making some suggestions of which models I might want to consider, and helping me work through the pros and the cons. I never felt any pressure to buy. I never felt like there were the typical salesman tactics of, you better buy now because there's going to be a price increase, or this deal is only good for a short period of time. I got this very real sense that the total mission of the salesperson was to make sure that I was matched up with the right product. And if the salesman was able to do that IWS would be able to gain that business. And that's exactly what happened. One thing to recognize is that most people that buy an RV from Mountain Home and IWS are not from Mountain Home. They're not traveling through Mountain Home and just stopping by to see what inventory IWS have. We have to make a conscious decision to come to Mountain Home, which means that the reputation of quality, the reputation of service is so important, and is the reason that people come here to purchase units. And my experience has been just that.